Yes, a very good evening to you once again, watching UBC TV. Welcome to our second edition of News Tonight. It's me, Michael Jordan Lukomwa. President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni is optimistic that the presidential zonal industrial hubs for skilling the youth will help Uganda stop importing what can be made locally. While addressing a gathering shortly after commissioning the zonal industrial hub for Madi sub-region located at Zaipi, Jumani district, the president noted that while training the youth, the industrial hubs should remember to put emphasis on addressing the basic human needs, namely food, shelter and clothing, saying these can turn into business for them to earn a living in future. He was happy to learn that Jumani zonal industrial hub was doing exactly the same. The president encouraged the administrators of the industrial hub to expand the scope of what they teach to the young people and add on, among other things, how to make animal feeds from maize and other raw materials.
Therefore, we are very confident that in this hub, we shall be having students enrolling each semester and they will get the skills because there's total willingness to come here and learn.
Your Excellency, you are welcome home.
Amba, nyene karibu baru, anjititine.
Your Excellency, we now join the rest of the parts of the country to thank you.
Amasa. Bazi karizitika Uganda rere amakuya ila nyanzozo amba.
For this strategic intervention to transform the new generation from idleness, from high dependence syndrome to productivity. Your Excellency, we are proud of you and you are doing all this to solve a lot of problems.
Kuroza is to make somebody taste.
Di au sidru bakanyi ubi.
To show you what it can be done.
Asiru itere joro nyini baka wariado itei.
In a modern society.
Odu dia laki lafo taodiri titro e.
In the economics in schools.
Lini malidika sukuru ase.
We studied that human needs are food,
ta winilela kanare taba lelere linya,
shelter,
jo,
and clothing.
Bongotro.
The basic ones.
Ledita do basikole akolo are.
Therefore, when you are training your people in skills,
na itisi jonyili nike. Ba nyiti ni taitezo ayangasiwa.
You must remember that.
Kole nyini tanatinye rawa.
Human beings want food.
Baoleta linyare.
How do I produce food?
Malinya di swingoni.
How do I process it?
Maitu akere cholinya ingoni.
How do I preserve it?
Mata nambai voloroko ingoni.
If you put your business there, you will never go wrong. To produce food, Study it,
Tana mpaka kivoloruku
you will never be poor.
Speaker of Parliament Anita Among has returned the controversial iron sheets which were meant for Karamoja vulnerable communities. After hours of following the right procedure, the Office of the Prime Minister acknowledged reception of 500 pieces of iron sheets which Speaker Anita Among is said to have received as a way of protecting the image of Parliament.
A team from the Office of the Speaker of Parliament camped at the Office of the Prime Minister stores at Namave, a Kampala suburb, to deliver 500 iron sheets.
So we received the paperwork from Office of the Prime Minister, and we received communication from Office of the Right Honorable Speaker. So as we talk, we are receiving the iron sheets.
Speaker Anita Among openly agreed to have received 500 iron sheets from an unknown address, and she distributed them to various schools in her constituency.
I have sent my personal assistant to take back the iron sheets to OPM.
Now, the factory required authorization from the Office of the Prime Minister to be able to supply the Office of the Prime Minister. It is yesterday that we discovered from the time the factory wrote to the Office of the Prime Minister, they claimed the OPM had not responded to them. So yesterday we got a physical copy of the authorization and delivered it to the factory, and that is why the delivery happened today.
As the controversial iron sheets saga hits hard on top government officials, the Speaker procured 500 iron sheets through MMI Steels Company, with each costing 71,000 Uganda shillings.
It was important for us to identify, because these iron sheets are made strictly for the Office of the Prime Minister. So there was a process that had to be taken to identify the contracted contractors, and it is only the contracted contractors who supply this quality. So the rest of the things we are doing, we are background paying for them, and then making sure that the right quality and the right amount is actually delivered.
Over 80,000 iron sheets meant for Karamoja vulnerable communities landed on the wrong hands, and investigations have since put the Minister for Karamoja Affairs behind bars. It is still uncertain as to the fate of the investigations, despite a move by the Speaker Anita Among to return the iron sheets. Daniel Mugoya, Green Vitavinji, UBC News.
Yes, there's a breaking sad story of the demise of Keith Muhakanizi, who has been the permanent secretary of the Office of the Prime Minister. It comes with confirmation from the Prime Minister that the permanent secretary, Office of the Prime Minister, is dead. Keith Muhakanizi, who is former secretary to the Treasury, passed on in a hospital in Italy. Details to this will come in our subsequent news gatherings. May his soul rest in eternal peace. Moving on with more news, the Kabaka of Buganda, Ronald Mwenda Mutebi II, has appealed for more unity among Baganda. He was speaking at his 68th birthday celebrations at an event held in his palace in Mengo.
Uganda celebrates the birthday of the King, His Royal Highness Ronald Mwenda Mutebi II, every 13th day of April annually. Over 1,000 people from within and outside of the kingdom attended this celebration held at Rubiri Mengo in Kampala. His Royal Highness the King of Uganda Ronald Mwenda Mutebi II advised the people of Uganda and others to consider unity as a way of rebuilding their culture.
Okwegatta gwe musingi gw'obuwanguzi bwaffe. Ndowooza ensonga eyo njagala okugiddamu okwegatta gwe musingi gw'obuwanguzi bwaffe. Era basaba nti ensonga eyo tugitwale mu maaso.
The Kabaka was appointed as the Africa Goodwill Ambassador for ending AIDS among men in Eastern and Southern Africa with a special focus on Uganda by UNAIDS in 2017. Using his position, he calls on the leaders to sensitize the masses, fight AIDS and other communicable diseases that are killing the young generation.
No, kyewoleka bulungi mu kulwanyisa endwadde ya siriimu nga tukubiriza abantu baffe okwekuuma, okwekebeza n'okwejjanjabisa era n'obutafuuwa nnyo sigala era Katikkiro bwe yagambye.
The Katikkiro of Buganda, Charles Peter Mayiga, tipped the people on being developmental and living a healthy life by eating healthy.
Is instrumental in the development not only of the kingdom but of the country. The health campaigns that the Kabaka has spearheaded have significantly contributed to the well-being of the people, which is necessary or a precondition for any development to take place. We therefore urge you to heed the Kabaka's call on all issues related with health.
In attendance at the function were, among others, ministers from Buganda Kingdom, Uganda government, KCCA political leaders, and the clergy. Apart from the birthday celebrations, Kabaka Ronald Mwenda Mutebi will on Sunday 16th April flag off the annual birthday run in Mengo under the theme Fight to End AIDS HIV by 2030. Justin Nakami, Daniel Lugemwa, UBC News.
The National Curriculum Development Center and Ministry of Education and Sports rolled out the new lower secondary school curriculum in February 2020 to produce secondary school graduates with employable skills that are competitive on the labor market. The Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Education and Sports, Katie Lamaro, calls on education stakeholders to embrace the program.
The lower secondary curriculum is being implemented in all secondary schools countrywide, and the cohort of 2023 learners are due for occupational competency-based assessment. The Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Education and Sports, Katie Lamaro, represented by the Acting Director, Directorate of Educational Standards, Francis Atima, says the curriculum will produce a developed country.
When you visit most of our schools, you get now more confident children than before, more respectful children, and children who appreciate. If you spoke to an S1 and S2, you'd see a difference when you went to S3 and S4 back then. You could see totally a difference between these children. So really thank you once again.
Atima was commissioning a team of officials from the Directorate of Industrial Training and the Ministry of Education and Sports who are going to disseminate the lower secondary curriculum to secondary school head teachers countrywide.
Our role when we go to try to bring this into the fore and educate our people and sensitize them and tell them the differences between the UNEB and the DI.
The Director, Directorate of Industrial Training, Dr. Patrick Byakatonda, says registration of candidates is online. All universal secondary education candidates are exempted from paying registration and assessment.
IT assessment, one, you are going to sit for 2 papers. Paper 1 is called the related knowledge. Related knowledge has some theory related to the practical. This related knowledge will be related to the projects which they are already doing at school level. That one, a full paper will be assessed at the school level, but its pass mark is 50%. It includes also some records, but also there are physical, like certificates of achievements.
The Director, National Curriculum Development Center, Dr. Grace Baguma, says both teachers and students have embraced the curriculum. She calls on parents to assist their children with simple practical materials.
If we work together with all of you stakeholders, we can get a child whom we want. I'm very encouraged. Why am I encouraged? We have actually ideally taught fully 1 year because we had COVID. And in 1 year, we are seeing very good results from the children.
Sudat Kaye and Henry Moganga, UBC News.
Uganda Printing and Publishing Corporation has plans to revive and run the printing school as mandated by the law. This was revealed by the acting managing director, Kenneth Oluka, during the inauguration of the new board of directors for the corporation at the office of the president in Kampala.
After operating for 1 year without the board of directors, Uganda Printing and Publishing Corporation, UPPC, has inaugurated a new board. The 8-member board, headed by Joachim Bwembo, was inaugurated by the Minister for the Presidency, Mary Babaranda, at the office of the President in Kampala.
By the power vested in me as Minister for the Presidency, I take the opportunity to officially inaugurate you as the new board of the Uganda Printing and Publishing Corporation, that is UPPC, on this 13th day of April 2023 here at Office of the President.
I, Joachim, swear that I will at all times well and true serve the Republic of Uganda as chairperson of the UPPC board, and that I will observe and support and uphold the Constitution. So help me God.
I, Helen Ichumar Judith, swear that I will not directly or indirectly communicate or reveal any matter to any person which shall be brought under my consideration.
The Minister for the Presidency, Mary Babaranda, urged the new board to be patriotic and refrain from any corruption tendencies.
So if we do this, how can we even talk of the UPPC of tomorrow? If our interest is in money, eating what is there, what has been generated, how about tomorrow, the UPPC of tomorrow? We have come here to help UPPC make money and not to help ourselves with the UPPC money. Work towards providing modern machinery and equipment for the corporation.
We think that within the next 10 years from now, this organization must be a very strong one of the agencies in Uganda, which will be not only making money, but also depicting the image, the social transformation of our country. So
the board pledged to drive the corporation to greater heights.
So we believe the selection was proper, and besides pledging to leverage on the technological advancements, we also commit to do everything within the law. And I think the lawyers on board now are not there by accident, but because of their competence.
The acting managing director, UPPC, Kenneth Oluka, revealed that the corporation plans to revive the printing school.
It is in the very founding act that we must run a printing school as a corporation to skill Ugandans beyond just printing. We want to do a holistic approach so that even when people go down to Nasa Road, they are not just printing to have the thing out, but they must also have the ethics that go with printing. And printing now is very dynamic. When you go into security printing, it is a whole big course in some countries like South Africa and India and Europe.
Uganda Printing and Publishing Corporation is a public enterprise established in 1992 by an Act of Parliament with a mandate to print and publish all government legislation and documents, but also offer printing for both public and private entities. Adia Nakuti, UBC.
The Pakistan Association, Uganda, and the Office of the Minister of Kampala have donated assorted items worth millions to people living with disabilities and the elderly to help them during these last days of the month of Ramadan. The chairman, Pakistan Association, Imran Nadim, says they have different social and economic activities in the country to transform lives in Uganda.
The Pakistan Association of Uganda has donated assorted items to persons living with disabilities and the elderly in Kampala. The chairman, Pakistan Association Uganda, Imran Nadim, says that to venture into different activities to transform livelihood of Ugandans.
The rest, most of the things have been already informed by Honorable about our different activities, social and economic activities, which we are already doing in Uganda. Those activities which we are doing in Uganda, this food package is only basically in Ramadan, but the other things, alhamdulillah, we are completing the boreholes for the clean water, drinking water. We are doing medical camps in different areas. We are having other activities like supporting the students in the schools, construction of the masjid, and also we are going for further, inshallah.
Nadim promised to improve the sanitary system of places of worship.
Era nga tukolagana ne Minister we Kampala Hajat Misa era abadde taliiwo nga agenze mu umura naye era n'amukiikiridde abaddewo Professor Kamukama n'abantu abalala abakulembeze.
Professor Dickson Kamukama thanked the Pakistan community in Uganda for serving humanity.
Kugabira abantu abaliko obulemu ku mubiri n'abakadde ebintu by'okusibulukirako.
The items donated include cooking oil, rice, sugar, maize flour, soap, among others. Mary Namkose, Sudat Kaye, UBC News.
Luwero Senior Secondary School Administration has promised to work with the old students to steer the school forward with emphasis on holistic education. The commitment was made by school head David Balaba Senkungu.
The Old Students Association actually works with the school administration. People who have been in the institution know a lot about what transpired. Somebody who has slept on the bed, slept in the dormitories, has been able to get the real feeling of what goes on in the school. They will be able to support it. They may come back as old students, either to do the counseling, inspire and motivate the current learners, guide as far as career guidance is concerned. If it is disciplinary issues, these are the best counselors, because they also assure them that they were able to go through that institution and actually they were able to make it and motivate the would-be students that would either be going astray. Not only that, they come and inspire the young ones. If somebody is gifted maybe in soccer, and in a way, the young ones have someone to look up to.
The challenge has been lack of enough resources. By mandate, we are required to have at least one annual general meeting every year, but we couldn't do that because the resources were not available, and at times they could not be availed to us by the school administration. Then again, we have had the challenges of having an cooperative school head teacher who never wanted us to work with them and who thought that we were of no importance and of no relevance to the management of this institution.
The Inspector of Government, Betty Olive Namisango Kamya, has called on Muslims across the country to sustain humility values exhibited during the holy month of Ramadan.
In this Ramadan period, Muslims exhibit high level of humility coupled with charity and discipline. The Inspector General of Government, Bet Olive Namisango Kamya, want Muslims to sustain behaviors exhibited in Ramadan. This was at a iftar dinner organized by the IG Office for Fasting Muslim Community.
about goodness, they talk about kindness, they talk about compassion, they talk about generosity, they talk about forgiveness, they talk about humility. None of those. They even talk about, yes, I said generosity, giving to people in need. And that's exactly what my faith also talks about.
The Uganda Muslim Supreme Council was represented by the first Deputy Mufti Sheikh Abdallah Semambo, who preached about charity and brotherhood in this contemporary society.
Out of there are so many benefits, because one of the benefits, it's a training session whereby you learn how to control yourself. You abstain from friendly activities to mankind. You learn how to control yourself. Even if you are alone in your room, you say, I'm fasting, so I will not take anything, even if I'm not in front of anybody here, because I'm sure that the Almighty is seeing me, is following me.
Serving iftar meal to any fasting Muslim is a means of earning reward, and it also doubles the reward of your own fast. Abdul Nasiri Lubwama for UBC.
Talk with freedom. Get MTN Freedom voice bundles that don't expire. Dial *100 *21# or my MTN app for more bundles. Together, we're unstoppable.
The Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development, under the auspices of the East African Community, will host the 10th East African Petroleum Conference and Exhibition 2023 from the 9th to the 11th of May 2023 at the Kampala Serena Hotel in Uganda. Take full advantage of the investment opportunities in the East African region's vibrant oil and gas sector. To find out more on how to sponsor, exhibit, or attend the 10th EAPCE 23, visit www.eapce23.eac.int.
It's the encounters with our majestic gorillas, the thrill of taking on the falls of the Nile River, the joy of discovering new traditions, and a lot more. Join us at the 2023 Pearl of Africa Tourism Expo from the 26th to the 29th of April at the Commonwealth Resort, Munyonyo. Rediscover our country's uniqueness and see what the tourism sector has in store for you. Visit www.poate.co.ug to secure your spot and get set to learn, network, and explore. The Pearl of Africa Tourism Expo is brought to you by the Uganda Tourism Board in partnership with Competitiveness and Enterprise Development Projects. Explore Uganda, the Pearl of Africa.
Are you tired of high fees and slow transfer time when sending money? Look no further. Airtel Money is here to revolutionize the way you move your money. We have revised our rates, and now sending money from Airtel to other networks in Uganda, East Africa, and to the rest of the world has never been more affordable. Plus, you can trust Airtel Money to get your money where it needs to go quickly and safely. Simply dial *185# and start sending money. Switch to Airtel Money today and experience unbeatable rates and top-notch services for all your local and international money transfer needs. Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
This isn't just a girl. She is the future. This is a teacher, a doctor, a community leader, our future president.
Their support meant so much to me. And as a teenage girl, I stayed focused and was protected from child marriage and teenage pregnancy. I will support other girls against child marriage and teenage pregnancy.
Take action. Report any case of defilement or child marriage to the police or call Sawuti 116.
This is a quick call. I'm almost out of minutes. Now, the center.
Why rush through such important conversations? Airtel Uganda has made it possible for you to call across all networks in Uganda at the best rates with the new Bona voice bundles. Stay connected anytime, anywhere, with minutes valid for calls on all networks. Dial *100*1#, select voice bundles and select Bona voice bundles today. Airtel, the smartphone network.
UBC News Tonight, thank you so much for watching. The Rotary Club of 9213 District has partnered with the Ministry of Education to enhance children's literacy skills while at home and at school. The governor of the district, Mike Sebalu, said that the project also aims at providing quality integrated basic education.
It's something we appreciate, and inclusion. That's why we found it necessary not to leave any section of our community out of the education programs that we promote and we champion. People with the disability and challenges, they need more of education than even the able ones, because already they are disadvantaged. So if you are disabled and you are ignorant, and you really see the magnitude of challenges that you would be live with. You can't walk properly, but you can't even read. Even when you see a sign that you are turning right, you can't. You may end up crawling to the wrong place, end up suffering even more. So the best thing that we can do in doing good in the world is to empower them with the literacy levels so that they mitigate the other areas of disability and disadvantage. And that's why we...
More than 60% drop out before the end of the term. Why do they drop out? One of the very, very critical and major factors is that there are no people, the skilled personnel to manage these children. People do not understand them. An autistic child is coming and doesn't want to see everybody, and the teacher, because they don't know, they are slapping the child, they are sending the child out of the class, just because they think this child is still having a change, or in my language and the Bantu language, a change, you know, change.
The basic education problem in Uganda is really challenging. It is one thing. Now, when it comes to the children with special needs, they are already disadvantaged. They again find the system which needs support as well. So that is what we call double tragedy. And we say, here, look, while we are going to focus on empowering teachers of mainstream, we must be seen and we must do everything in our humble means to see ourselves as well empower teachers of children with special needs to go and help us address the problem that I've talked about.
Why?
The head of the High Court Civil Division, Justice Musa Sekana, has expressed dissatisfaction with lawyers who fail their clients in getting justice since they do not care to research about the laws, especially those relating to human rights. Sekana communicated this during the launch of the book by Dr. Livingstone Sewanyana on human rights in Uganda, The Elusive Promise.
Human rights in the Constitution of Uganda are one of the non-derogable rights, and if one is found in violation of one's rights, this is an offense. For this matter, it compelled Dr. Livingstone Sewanyana to write a book on human rights in Uganda entitled Human Rights in Uganda, The Elusive Promise. Dr. Livingstone Sewanyana says the book is aimed at creating awareness among Ugandans and leaders about the essence of human rights.
Are you genuine? Are you passionate? Are you able to sacrifice yourself like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. did, or Mahatma Gandhi, all other people like Nelson Mandela did? That is the key question. But overall, human rights work in this country leaves a lot to be desired. There is very little that is done in mobilizing the population to stand up against injustice. There is very little done in mobilizing people to acquire capital in order to build the economic muscles. So as such, it is very much in its infancy.
Sewanyana is of the view that the book will help Ugandans to know more about their rights as well as the human rights defenders.
Part of the challenge that we face is to nurture a crop of people who are grounded both theoretically but also in practice about the ideals and the very essence of human rights. So as such, knowledge development becomes critical, and that's the very reason why this book comes in and it becomes timely. That if you are a student of human rights, you are a lecturer of human rights, or you are a political elite, you need to understand the jurisprudence of rights.
Judge Musa Sekana, head of High Court Civil Division, expressed concern with lawyers who failed their clients for not making research on laws.
It is a gradual process. I know people would want to see what is happening in other jurisdictions happen here, but I think we need to appreciate where we are coming from. It's not, those countries have been there for over 200 years. Now, you cannot compare yourself to a country which has been there for over 200 years when you've just had 60 years of independence. There is still hope because we have a constitution, we have all these legislations which are coming in. Like we recently had the enforcement of human rights. It is unheard of. Actually, some jurisdictions don't even have it, don't have that act. But now anyone can come to court and challenge any violator.
Sekana, however, commended Dr. Livingstone Sewanyana for writing the book.
It will definitely improve on the quality of judgments because with materials, with resource materials, a judge is able to quickly make reference and give meaningful judgment as opposed to a judge writing a judgment without local materials or local content, because the lawyers normally cite South African cases, cases from England, but they are only applicable to the extent that the Constitution of Uganda embraces those principles. You have to contextualize it within the local content because we are administering justice in the name of the people with aspirations of Ugandans.
Deborah Namamonde, UBC News.
The Deputy RCC in Mbarara City, Robert Kanusu, has appealed for an end to domestic violence to help children grow up in better environment. This was during the commemoration of the International Wild Street Children Day yesterday.
Uganda joined the rest of the world to commemorate the International Wild Street Children Day on Wednesday. The Deputy Resident City Commissioner Mbarara City, Robert Kanusu, officiated the Mbarara City celebrations. He cited domestic violence as the main driver of children onto the streets.
We also, as Mbarara City, feel that this is a very big challenge to our community, and especially the urbanizing areas. That the number of the people coming in the city, the pressures keep increasing. And when they get to the city, the pressures also increase of urbanization. Some don't know where to sleep, don't have where to sleep. Others don't have relatives, they have no food, they have no tuition, they have no school fees. So as Mbarara City, we keep receiving these children who continue coming into the city unfollowed, without stress of where they should belong and where they are supposed to, where they live.
Niwagaba Isaac, a social worker at one of the rehabilitation centers in Mbarara, says they receive over 60 street children annually and they try to give them counseling, but most do want to go back home.
And now we have a problem with families, like families are so poor, and that's one of the big causes why children run from homes to the streets. So if the government can really come up with family empowerment programs and come and work with us and we show them the best approach, we can really participate in that, and I'm sure that would be very, very good. But also sensitization. Families really want to be sensitized. There are very many people who are families, parents who actually don't know how to do parenting.
Originations Road and Eric's have supported Children's Rehabilitation Center, like Magara Masters, so that street kids can change their ways of living. And many have learned how to do practical works.
With Eric's, they work with children's rights, and one right that a child has is to, whatever background you have, you do have a right to get an education and to get a better future, no matter where you come from. So that is something that is very close to my heart, and I think that is the main reason why Eric supports Amagara Masia.
As we celebrate, let's remind ourselves as non-government organizations, governments, CBOs, CSOs, etc., even parents, that these children need liberty. They are part of the future that we are trying to forge and working hard for. They have needs, they have basic human needs.
Mbarara City has over 500 street children, some of whom have now turned into street men and women.
I'm so glad that I was part of the street kids, but now I'm not a street kid. I'm so glad that God handpicked me from there. And another thing I want to say, I was a street kid in 2010, and Amagara Masia handpicked me from there.
Thank you so much for watching. Here comes a very short break. On return, we'll talk business.
Are you tired of high fees and slow transfer time when sending money? Look no further. Airtel Money is here to revolutionize the way you move your money. We have revised our rates, and now sending money from Airtel to other networks in Uganda, East Africa, and to the rest of the world has never been more affordable. Plus, you can trust Airtel Money to get your money where it needs to go quickly and safely. Simply dial *185# and start sending money. Switch to Airtel Money today and experience unbeatable rates and top-notch services for all your local and international money transfer needs. Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
This isn't just a girl. She is the future. This is a teacher, a doctor, a community leader, our future president.
Their support meant so much to me, and as a teenage girl, I stayed focused and was protected from child marriage and teenage pregnancy. I will support other girls against child marriage and teenage pregnancy.
Take action. Report any case of defilement or child marriage to the police or call Sauti 116.
10 years of supporting health in Uganda. This year, the Kabaka of Buganda will mark its 10-year anniversary on Sunday, 16th April at Lubidi, starting 7 a.m. and continue the fight to end AIDS by 2030. Buy your running kit today at 20,000 shillings from Airtel shops, Benchuanuka, Fubani, New Taxi Pack, or Majestic Brands office in Bulange Mango. You can also pay using Airtel Money. Dial *185 *5#. Kits purchased using Airtel Money shall be picked from Airtel Wampe or shop. Paul is sponsored by
It's the encounters with our majestic gorillas, the thrill of taking on the falls of the Nile River, the joy of discovering new traditions, and a lot more. Join us at the 2023 Pearl of Africa Tourism Expo from the 26th to the 29th of April at the Commonwealth Resort, Munyonyo. Rediscover our country's uniqueness and see what the tourism sector has in store for you. Visit www.poate.co.ug to secure your spot and get set to learn, network, and explore. The Pearl of Africa Tourism Expo is brought to you by the Uganda Tourism Board in partnership with Competitiveness and Enterprise Development Projects. Explore Uganda, the Pearl of Africa.
Jerry con. Jerry con. Hey, Master Blaster. Touch him, man. Bang Jerry con with muscle. Those ones who say go for you only. Mundawa. Best group is I teach you. When I go to which the scarry. Because of the camera is very far. Is you serious? It's serious you. What? Eh? You step it on it. Add kilometers to your legs, and you get your sugar. We buy milk from Umaru, and Umaru refuse to give you enough meat. Show him that they don't joke with you. Umaru,
okukakaluka n'okulungi kwetaagako omuntu akuyambako n'olwekyo tujja kukuteerawo embeera esaanidde osobole okukola ekisinga awamu teri kitulema.
Government, through the Ministry of Works and Transport with the Uganda Railways Corporation as the implementing agency, have signed a contract with China Road and Bridge Corporation to rehabilitate the Tororo-Gulu section of the meter gauge railway line. According to Uganda Railways Corporation, the 365-kilometer railway line traverses through Mbale, Soroti and Lira before terminating at the Gulu Logistics Hub. The hub is designed to facilitate transportation, collection, separation, consolidation and distribution of goods for national and international transit on the commercial basis. The rehabilitation works for the Tororo-Gulu line will take a period of 2 years and are fully funded by the government of Uganda at a cost of 199 billion shillings as part of the efforts to increase the stock and quality of strategic infrastructure to accelerate Uganda's competitiveness and creating the integrated transport infrastructure.
Witnessing a signing ceremony of a contract between CRBC and Uganda Railways Corporation. On behalf of the board, I want to thank the government through our line ministry, that's Ministry of Works and Transport, for having committed funds to get this line revamped. It's been down for quite a long time. Attempts have been on to get it done, but finally we are there. The contract has been signed, so we are indeed very grateful and we thank the government for having committed.
2 years this time, and the initial contract was only 10 months. We, all these things, we had a very good discussion with the government of Uganda, especially our URC engineers team. So I already signed 24 months to complete the work, and as a good reputed company, we should complete at within 24 months. This railway is also a new rehabilitation work. Although some areas, the lines, the rails, or the track has been flooded or taken away from the line. But most areas, if you go to the site, the rails, the track is still there, but only some steel sleepers were missing, some fasteners were missing, so the functionality of operation is not there anymore. But this time we are still going to use the steel sleepers and put some new, of course, some new steel sleepers will be imported to the line.
Operation is adding on another 385 kilometers of railway line on top of the 365. Besides that, we are linking the rest of the country to the main line, that is from Malaba Tororo to Gulu. This line is intended to link up with the Gulu Logistics Hub, which is also a new project which has been completed. So we are seeing another development.
The formal medical survey of the year 2022 has identified overcharging by medical service providers as the main obstacle affecting the sector's growth. While launching this report, Alhaji Ibrahim Kaduna B, the Chief Executive Officer of the Insurance Regulatory Authority, highlighted the abuse of insurance policy by stakeholders impairs the development of this sector.
Majority of the clients, standing at 97% of corporates and 92% individuals, perceive medical insurance positively.
A recent formal medical survey of 2022 has established that overcharging by medical service providers is affecting the sector.
Medical insurance is the best because it is supervised and we can track and remedy whatever challenges which may befall your way. The objectives and the scope
of the study have been given as specifically to establish the performance of the medical insurance in Uganda, to find out the levels of satisfaction of the beneficiaries, and this is both at corporate level and individual levels.
The survey determined the majority of Ugandans are appreciating insurance packages to an average of 75%.
That majority of Ugandans have sufficient knowledge about medical insurance in as far as what it covers, and we have a percentage of 92% who have that knowledge. In terms of those who know the conditions and terms of the cover, 88% of Ugandans, of those who consume medical insurance, knew about them.
The survey indicates that some premiums are expensive, which scare away the would-be potential clients.
Overcharging for medical services by medical service providers. This was highlighted as a key challenge by many insurers, and this tends to eat up the profits, and indeed, at times, it also eats up even the little or the capital of the insurance providers.
The annual rise in the number of people seeking formal medical insurance has increased, and the trend is expected to increase.
Uganda's bodybuilders have cause to smile following a donation from China-based Derek Olara. Olara has gifted several high-profile bodybuilders, including Mr. Uganda Godfrey, while not forgetting his roots in Gulu.
All along, most of Uganda's bodybuilders have been lacking necessary wear to enable them in competition. This now is going to belong to the past after donation of costumes and jelly from one of their own, China-based Derek Olara.
I decided to bring this gift to my brothers because this is my feeling, the way I feel. I'm a bodybuilder, so when I look back home, I think, sometimes I watch the game, I say, look at my brothers. They really look good, but there's something they're still lacking. So I made my mind and I decided, like, I need to do something for them, even if I don't have much, but I need to share with them what I have.
Olara, who now contests among the world's best, has donated to some of Uganda's leading bodybuilders, including Mr. Uganda Godfrey Lubega, Zulaika Najuma, Nasa Mwanje, and Brian Opendu.
Derek Olara tanaba kumala bbanga ly'amaanyi n'empaka wano nalaba azanya Mr. Uganda nali wakuna yali wakubiri mubikira yawangula naye ate atulaze nti agenze e Bulaaya ku international level gyaliko kati kuba kati azanya mpaka ziri ez'amaanyi naye n'akomawuko ewaka n'abeera ng'alina n'ebirabo byatuleetedde ffe nga bazanyi banne.
To Uganda Bodybuilding and Fitness Association, this shot in the arm is timely and welcome as Uganda bodybuilders prepare for the global stage.
We are organizing a team to represent Uganda on international standard, so I'm very sure that the time they will be going to international, they are going to be used for everything.
On the local scene, Uganda's bodybuilders are jeering for this weekend's Mr. Northern Region Championship, while internationally a team travels to Canada later this month. John Barnes, Sentano, UBC News.
Still in more news. Action in the Kampala Region Football League has continued with action at various venues. At the M10 Philip Omondi Stadium, home side Proline FC lost to St. Mary's.
Proline Football Club's fairy tale run under new coach Simon Peter Mugero has been tainted by a 2-0 loss to St. Mary's in the Scorpion group of the Kampala Region League.
For the two sessions we worked on scoring goals, creating chances in the final third, but I'm just disappointed that we didn't convert the chances we created, although we are all over St. Mary's for the whole of second half, but we didn't capitalize on the chances we created. So we just need to focus again, regroup again, and focus on to the next one.
In other games played, Atoro United lost 3-0 to Lufula. Water beat KJT 3-1. Katda edged Nabingo 3-1, while Antinda United's sole effort saw off Sparta 0-9. Action returns this weekend with the highlight game featuring Proline FC against Ntinda United. John Barnes, Central, UBC News.
That brings us to the end of UBC News tonight. Thanking you so much for watching. My name is Michael Jordan Lukomwa. Enjoy the night. Bye-bye.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.